This video is going to examine macros and how they work in AutoCAD. Let's start by using a command just off of the command line to see what happens here. If I go to the regular arc command, you'll notice on the command line that it says arc, and then it gives me some options. My first option is center, but it's asking me, it's expecting me to input a start point. So I can pick a start point either by typing in a coordinate or picking with my mouse. After I pick with my mouse, on the command line, it says to specify the second point of the arc, and it gives me the options of center or end. Okay, if I want the center option, I would type C for center, press enter, and now it asks me to specify the center point of the arc, so I can specify the center point of the arc. And then now it asks me to specify the end point of the arc, or it gives me the options for the angle or the chord length. I'll just say, let's come in here and specify the end point. Notice how it allows me to specify with my mouse where that end point is, and that draws the command. So that's just a regular 3-point arc command. If I go to the drop-down menu, you'll see that there is one here that says arc, and then start, center, end. Where is it? Start, center, end. That's this one. If I come in here, it does the same thing. It says specify the start point, so it gives me the start point. But notice now, it asks me to specify the center point of the arc. If we look in the command line history here, it put in the C option for me, didn't it? So now it's asking me for the center point, and then now it's it's letting me finish it out. And I could tell it that I want to put in the angle just like I did before, and that's my end point. So let's look at how this actually works. I've got a tool palette on here that I've just called macros just to have something to work with. To be able to see that command up close, I'm going to right click on the sidebar of my tool palette and choose customize commands. And then it brings up the CUI, the customize user interface. I'm just going to search for the arc command here. And then I want to choose the one that is start, center, end. There it is. And I'm going to drag that over and put it on the tool palette. So I can close this now. And here's the command. So if I right click on this and choose properties, you'll see it brings up a dialog box here. I'll zoom up on this so you can see a little bit better. It brings up this dialog box. The name of it is arc, start, center, and end. The description is that it creates an arc using the start point, the center point, and the end point. But then this right here is the macro. Just like we said before, all macros have to start with the Control-C, Control-C. So this is escape, escape. What that does is if I'm in a command, it exits that command and gets me back to the command line so that it can start the command. Then from there, we have the underscore, which is the translation deal for people who are using AutoCAD in other languages. And then we've got the command arc, okay? So that's saying, hey, let's start the arc command, and then there's a space after it. That space is the enter key that says, okay, we want to invoke the arc command. Now, because this is start, center, end, it expects the start point right off the bat. So this backslash is a pause for user input that's going to wait for the user to either pick with the mouse or type in a coordinate and press enter. Following that, you have another underscore, and then the C. Again, the underscore is for translation, so for international users of AutoCAD. And then the C is that center option in the arc command. So notice it's start, center, end. Following the C, you'll see that there is a space bar there. Okay, that space bar is the enter key, because if I was using the arc command, I would type C, I would press enter, and then it would prompt me for the center. And then notice that, however, that there are no other spaces, because from there it just lets the command run out by itself. So that's the way that works. Now, if I wanted to change this, then I could easily do that. Let's say that I wanted to change it so that my command here was going to use the angle option, and then give it a very specific angle of, say, 45 degrees. Okay, So I would say, okay, this is going to be arc, start, center, and then I'm going to call it 45-degree angle, because I'm creating a custom command here that is going to allow me to choose the start point, the center point, and then no matter what, it's always going to draw an arc with a 45-degree angle there. So my description is going to change. It says creates an arc using the start point, the center point, and then I'll just say a 45-degree angle. Okay, and I'm not going to worry about changing the image right now. We'll just go ahead and use that image. So now how does this change our macro? Well, this part of it doesn't change. It still has to be escape, escape, arc command. This first backslash changes or it tells this is where the user, gets to put his information in, and then we're going to choose the center point, and then we need to wait for the user to pick the center point, so that's going to be another backslash, and then we want to put in an angle, okay? So we're going to say underscore A, because A is the alias for the angle there, space bar after that, and then it's going to prompt the user for the angle. But we don't want the user to have to type it in. We want the user to just be able to pick it automatically finishes. So it's going to ask us what angle we want. We're going to say 45, and I'm going to put one more space bar so that it has an enter key after that. So I say OK. So now I've essentially changed that command so that even the command here is different. If I hover over it, the name of it is changed, the description of it is changed, and if I come over here and use it, I pick with my mouse, I pick my start point, I pick my center point, and it draws an arc with a 45-degree angle. It doesn't matter where it starts from, where it ends, it's going to draw it with a 45-degree angle. So anytime you're writing macros, you just kind of have to know what AutoCAD is going to want, and then in the macro you type in the responses that you would put at the command line.